Hey folks, welcome to the show. I'm your handsome host Isaac West, and today we'll be talking about the Warriors and Coyotes game. And I'm aware of the jersey I have on, so I'll just give a bit of a backstory. I was driving with my dad back home to Spruce Grove from Kimball. Kimball is like right next to the Montana border. You can see Montana from there, and we were able to stop at the Boston Pizza at Cross Iron Mills in. Well, it's not really Calgary; it's in Balzac. It is called Balzac. Yeah, you can look it up. And they were willing to play the Edmonton game. Obviously, the Calgary game got the audio, but we got to watch the Edmonton game. And thumbs up to that place because it's the first Boston Pizza in like years that gave me timely refills. Good job. Pat on your back, Balzac. Don't pat your Balzac. Anyways, the game. So I was wearing an Oilers jersey for the game in enemy territory, and then I got home and I got my some jerseys in the mail, including this Coyotes jersey, and I already put my Oilers jersey away, which was a Heritage Classic. I was wearing this, and then I started recording. I was like, oh, I have the Coyotes jersey on for a review about the Oilers playing the Coyotes, but it's okay because the Coyotes didn't win, so it's not sacrilege or any of that. And I am partial to the Coyotes, but I'm glad the Oilers won still. So I didn't realize the Coyotes were coming in on quite the losing streak. They were 0-8-1 coming in, and they left 0-9-1 during this game. And the Oilers are now 4-3 since their big winning streak. I thought Vejmelka might play again for the Coyotes with Connor Ingram out. And I can talk about the Coyotes more in depth at the end of the season. We'll do a roundup. But they had Matt Villalta in. He's a Kingston, Ontario native who was drafted not too many picks away from Skinner, who was opposite him. And this was Villalta's first career start. Not his first game, but his first career start. Sure, he'd like it to be better. So let's jump into it. The first period, the Oilers did dominate, at least in possession. The shots ended 7-7, and the Oilers ended that period 2-1 with Draisaitl scoring a power play goal, Janmark getting his second of the season, which was a tip-in, and Bukestad scoring in between them. He was on the Oilers for the post-deadline part of the season last year. I'm a big Bukestad fan. He proved why I'm a fan of him, but I didn't appreciate seeing it. I didn't need him to prove it to me against the Oilers because that wasn't his first goal. And so, anyways, after that period, even though the Oilers were in control barely and had the lead, there was still some complaints. As you could feel that the Oilers should do more and that they should come out in the second period strong and be better and take control. And with Coyotes on such a losing streak, it was important for the Oilers to come out strong and to make the Coyotes think that this is just going to be another one of their losses, which it eventually was. But they didn't take it as easily as we had hoped, because instead of us coming out in the second period, the Coyotes did. The Coyotes outshot Edmonton 9-7, so not a big margin, but those two extra shots were two extra goals. Keller scored early in the second. That was a power play goal from Schmaltz and Dursey. It was a nice goal, and it just adds on to Edmonton's penalty killing woes. And part of that is that your best penalty killer should be your goalie, and Skinner hasn't been our best penalty killer lately. I'll talk about him in a bit right after I mention the other Arizona goal that came almost 8 minutes later, which was Nick Bukestad again, an assist from Keller. So I'm a fan of Keller and Bukestad. Actually, Keller's is the name on this jersey, but it's like, they didn't need to prove to me that I like them today. They could have taken the day off. I would have been okay with that. So that period was really disappointing for the Oilers, even though it wasn't like a demolishing second period for the Oilers. It was disappointing that they let Arizona back into the game and gave them some hope and all that. All three goals against Skinner were pretty nice goals, good snipes. They're goals that you look at and you say, well, you would hope that your goalie saves those a little more often. But at the same time, you can understand why he didn't save them, because again, they were all good goals. But all is well. When the third period came around for the Oilers, they didn't really dominate in terms of shots. They outshot Arizona 12-9, but they did dominate in terms of goals. They scored 4 straight goals, which was not the most today. The Wild Vancouver game, that put a big smile on everyone's faces at the Boston Pizza. Calgary or Edmonton fan, even though Edmonton and Calgary were winning, we were smiling more about the Vancouver game. Pat, love to see it. Sorry to the Canucks fans. You are still welcome here, and we appreciate you. We just don't like your team. That's okay. You don't have to like ours. But anyways, third period, Kane scores first. That's from Ekholm and Bouchard. And then Hyman scores, what is that? 26 seconds later. That's from Bouchard and Ekholm. And then Kane scores again almost 2 minutes later from McLeod and Draisaitl, and Foegele gets the empty netter from Draisaitl and McDavid. So, really nice to see any kind of goal from anyone, but it's always nice to see it from Kane and Hyman. Sometimes Kane can go in slumps, and then he'll scoreless slumps, and then he'll have a game where he has 2 goals, and one of them was a nice snipe, and the other one was a tip-in. So he ended up being one of the stars, which I'll get to in a bit. So shots ended 26-25 for the Oilers. A little low for Oilers shooting. It could have been much higher, probably should have been. But again, you won the game by 3. I'm not going to complain too much. They did win the face-off circle, 29-21 for 58%. Both teams were 1 for 2 on the power play. But Arizona out-hit Edmonton 27-17. Again, not going to complain about not hitting as much when you win 6-3. Usually, when your team doesn't have the puck as much, you're going to hit more, and that was the case for Arizona. So, it was a good game with some concern that we might be the team Arizona beats to end their streak. That would be very demoralizing, but I didn't have to worry about that, especially again wearing an Oilers jersey in Calgary territory. The 3 stars in terms of the Oilers, your first star was Draisaitl. He had a goal and 2 assists. He was very good in the faceoff circle and had extremely good possession numbers. Followed by that was Kane. 2 goals, not outside of the 2 goals, which is great. Not super noticeable game. He was his usual physical self, but the 2 goals obviously were great. And third star was Bouchard. Him and Ekholm actually weren't very good on defense today. They were okay, but not their usual dominant selves. There's some work to be done with them to get them back in, but Bouchard did have 3 assists, so we'll let it slide today. In terms of goalies, because I'm a goalie, I like to analyze goalies as much as I can. I'll start with Villalta. It's his first start. I was listening to, who are the names of the guys? They do the post-game show on 6:30 Ched. I like most of the guys at 6:30 Ched. These guys, they don't say a lot that I agree with. They were talking about Matt Villalta, and they were being nice to him, which is fine. It's his first start. He goes 20 for 25. I'm reading here, and no goalie wants that. But they say the question is, how do you think Villalta should take this? And one guy says, he had a pretty good game. I would say only a couple of those goals were ones that he would want back. And I disagreed. It's about perspective. As a fan, we should say, if I was an Arizona fan, and I am an Arizona fan, after the Oilers, but if I was speaking as an Arizona fan, I would say, Villalta only had a couple goals that he should have back, which is fine for a game against the Oilers, his first career start. But as a goalie, that should not be your perspective. Villalta, I would assume, if he was like me and I'm a goalie, he would want all those back, and he would want to try all those again, and I'm sure he would. So I think they were wrong on that regard. They said a lot today that I disagreed with, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into Skinner. I think all 3 of the goals he I mentioned a bit how I thought of him. All three of the goals he allowed were pretty nice goals, hard to save. He was 25 for 20. Oh, sorry, he was 22 for 25, which is below average. You certainly want a better game from him, especially for a team that has cup aspirations. But if this is his bad week or two, it's been his first bad stretch since the big long streak where he was seemingly unbeatable. He was unbeatable because he didn't lose during the winning streak, but this isn't so bad at all, at least compared to how he started. If this is his little bad slump for a couple weeks, we're still winning with it. And he's not playing horrible. He's playing weaker, and we'd hope it's better, especially come playoff time, but it wasn't that bad. It was just, could have been better. Like I said, those 3 goals, from a fan perspective, were pretty talented goals. But from a goalie perspective, he would want all 3 of those back. And so you kind of have to go in the middle where you'd hope your goalie, especially again for a contending team, would save some of those. So that was my thoughts on the goaltending. Other than that, good Oilers win, despite some concern in the middle. It was an enjoyable game to watch too, but not too much extracurricular activity outside of the scoring. And Coyotes did keep it close. I have a soft spot for the Coyotes, and I really like their roster, but that's a discussion for another video. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching this video. I hope you found it informative, enlightening, or just effective white noise. That's okay, too. I have some more video plans that aren't just Oilers reviews for Wednesday. I hope to get around to them. I have a life outside of this, you know. I'd love it if my life all revolved around hockey and the Oilers, but as of right now, it does not. But anyways, until then, I will see you. I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much again. Hope you leave a like, comment, and a subscription. Have a good night, good morning, wherever you are in your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye for now.